Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, we talk about all things fandom on this channel and we talk about them in a positive way. If that's something that appeals to you, you've come to the right place. We're so happy to have you here today. And today also happens to be Terrifying Tuesday on this channel, where we talk about all things horror. And today we have to talk about a remake I never thought would happen. And that is the remake of Sleepaway Camp. That's right, Sleepaway Camp is getting remade and the details are insane. So let's jump right into it. All right, so if you've never seen Sleepaway Camp, you'd be forgiven if you haven't, because the Sleepaway Camp movie was kind of one of those movies that it was very low budget. It has become a cult classic because of the twist ending. And it's one of the things that people still talk about today. If you see things on the most shocking things in horror, it's always on the list without a shadow of a doubt. And there is a reason. But I won't get into that. I'm not going to spoil it if you haven't seen the movie. There's some people that already know in my audience. And yeah, if you know, right? But then the other thing is that the movie and the shocking ending still shocks to this day. So I'm not going to give away the ending and kind of keep it spoiler free for the original movie itself. Just so that if you haven't watched it and this excites you, you can actually watch it and find out what all the hype is about. Now, the movie actually garnered several sequels. And these sequels weren't canon to the original movie later on, because originally they were supposed to be canon to the original movie, but then things progressed and the original people that did the movie kind of said that they would rather not have had those movies happen. Then you had a reboot that was Return to Sleepaway Camp, and that one didn't get the attention everyone hoped it would, I think. It didn't revitalize the franchise at all, and then it kind of went dormant, like Jason Voorhees for a long time. But now, news has come out that someone wants to redo this movie. And the person that wants to redo it is none other than Saturday Night Live star Kenan Thompson. That's right, Kenan Thompson is set to produce Sleepaway Camp, a remake from original director Robert Hiltzik. Now, Kenan Thompson's no stranger to the horror industry because he just got done producing this comedy horror film called Halloween Store. I don't know much details about it, but it's in post-production now. So what exactly are the details on this? Well, if you don't know, Kenan Thompson and producer Johnny Ryan Jr. have a company called AFA, and this company has done a couple good things. So producer Johnny Ryan Jr. is listed as having done Bill and Ted Face the Music and Good Burger 2. Now these guys have acquired the rights to the 1983 slasher film. And not just that, Ryan Hiltzik, who wrote and directed the original, is back to work on this from his own screenplay. So that's exciting news. They're bringing back the original guy who did the screenplay to direct this movie. I think that that's going to be awesome. I think that's going to be a good sign. The development on the script is currently underway and we don't know a lot of details about it yet. But according to what I've heard, they're staying true to the original story, and that's going to be important. They are kind of saying that you can expect some new twists from this, some new things. But Robert Hiltzik has been approached a couple times to do this. He's been approached by multiple companies. What makes this so different is that this company is one that keeps the property with the owners. It doesn't try to really take away the property like some companies do. It actually keeps ownership with the owners. So I think that part excites him as well. It's something that a lot of people have been wanting him to do for a long time, to sort of remake this project or something. And now finally he has a way to do that with a company that actually wants to make it. Kenan Thompson has been a fan of this movie for a long time, so that's a good thing as well. You always want the producers, writers, and directors all to be fans of the property they're writing. That's going to help this film out immensely. Ryan Jr. has been obsessed with this film apparently for 20 years, ever since he was a kid. And like I said, Kenan is a fan of this movie also, so that's a big plus. Now, I don't know how they do this movie. I don't know how they're going to plan it, but with the original guy back doing it, I think it has a lot of potential. Because sure, they said that he's going to give us a few shocking surprises, but I don't think that these shocking surprises are going to really be that big. Because honestly, those shocking surprises aren't going to take away from the ending of this movie. And if they do, then they've entirely missed the point of the movie to begin with. And that's kind of where we are. This is a project that it's promising to start up this franchise again. And I think that could work. I think that if you get the right people involved, it could work. And I personally, I love all of the films. I love all the Sleepaway Camp films, from the first one to the ones that they kind of said they don't want to be canon anymore. And I even kind of do like this Return to Sleepaway Camp, though that is the weakest in the entire franchise. I'll tell you that much right now. For whatever reason, that's just the weakest in the entire franchise. But that's only my opinion. Someone could look at the first one and that one and say they're the only definitive ones and that they entirely rock and there is no others. Or someone could look at the first one and say that's the only one that matters. Or you could even look at the sequels and say you don't need the original films. Because honestly, the sequels were set up in a way that you really didn't need the original film there. They kind of told you the story. They kind of explained it all to you. Now, it's funny because the star of the sequels was in fact Pamela Springsteen. Pamela Springsteen being the sister of Bruce Springsteen. And she was a bit of an actress back in the day. I haven't seen her in much lately. I don't know if she's still acting, but she took over when the franchise continued on and kind of became what people enjoyed about the sequels. Now, the original movie is sort of said to have a lot of bad acting, and it's one of those movies that has a lot of cheesy moments, a lot of really horrible takes too. You can look at this movie and there's not a lot of likable characters in that first movie. And if they're going to be true to that nature, which I hope they are, it's going to open up possibilities where we're not going to have very likable characters in this movie either. And that's not going to be something that's going to be all that bad. Sometimes it's fun in horror movies to have unlikable characters. I would actually argue that a lot of slasher films have very unlikable characters that just get offed one by one, and then that's what makes those films enjoyable for a lot of people. I personally always have thought that if you present every character as likable, the audience is going to be a bit confused. So I hope they keep it really true to the original format and we get to see that, because the later films also did this, but they leaned more into comedy. So after the first film, you got some that were basically horror comedies, and then that Return to Sleepaway Camp didn't do much better in terms of that. It still sort of leaned into the comedy. They can make this movie dark, they can make it comical, but ultimately, if they're staying true to what the original thing was about this movie, the original plot of this movie, and that shock ending, then I think it's going to be really cool. But that is where I'm going to leave it off to you guys. I want to know what you guys are thinking. Do you think that this is the right decision to have Robert Hiltzik come back to write and direct this remake? And do you think that Kenan Thompson's company is the right ones to do it? Whatever you guys are thinking, of course, there's no wrong answer. I just want to hear your opinions. Just remember to be nice to each other in our comments. We're all just fans having a conversation about the fandoms we love. So make sure you're leaving me that comment in the comment box below, letting me know what you think, and then make sure you're sharing this video with all of your friends so they can be a part of this crazy conversation we're having. Then if you like the positive content, you're gonna wanna let YouTube know. If you hit that like button, that lets them know that you want more positive content in your feed, and they're gonna be giving that to you. So make sure you're doing that if you like the positive content, so you can let them know what you like. And then if you're liking our videos, of course, you're gonna wanna hit that subscribe button. And right next to that is the notification bell, which you're gonna need to hit so you make sure that you don't miss a single video we do. Because friends, at the end of the day, I know it and you know it, fandom is family.